just you shut your mouth. Welcome along, everyone, to the Change Faces podcast. No, Dave, I had to do that because I've got a brand new microphone for the podcast, and I added like extra bass to the very back of it. So I really hope that the voice is coming in really basic. Oh my god. Yes, welcome along, everyone, as mentioned, to the Change Faces podcast. This is episode 6, and what is to come in this episode? Oh man, we have got another episode of loads of things going on in and around the globe because they don't stop and they don't stop spinning. But before we get into anything, how about this for some classic YouTube scripting right now? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Yeah, that was it, really. So what's coming in this episode? We've got all sorts, quite a few different bits of recaps, to be honest with you. So again, we're going to be going over to DC10 in Ibiza very, very shortly. And we've got some random observations of people behaving strangely on dance floors in the right and wrong way, let me just say. Later on, we're going to be talking about some technological innovations of soothing sound headphones. So I'll be getting into that a little later on. And then what happens when you throw rotten tomatoes and eggs at an artist? Do people still do that? Yes, they do. So we've got a little bit more on that later on in the show, plus a little bit of a recap from our previous episode. And then before we get into the news, and we're going all over for there, we're going to be going to Belgium. I bet you can't guess what that's all about. We're going to go back to Ibiza for more drama, and Ibiza again. Well, Ibiza is probably the most dramatic island there is before we end the discussion in Liverpool, so to speak, with our topical discussion, and there's quite a bit going on there. But you'll be very happy to know I'm not going to be talking to the void. I'm indeed talking to Dave Collins, who here he is.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, man. How's things? Episode 6.
Yep, we are on episode 6, and in classic Changing Faces podcast style, Dave has been in the middle of eating his dinner. Dave,
it's just a typical thing, though.
It is.
Happens all the time.
Would you care to say or describe what you have been eating?
Well, I'll show it to the camera. Just some pizza-rooney. My diet going full effect right there. So yeah.
I think I saw some Rocket and some Tommy K's there. Not Tommy K, some Tommy's. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And very good to see, Dave. So well done for that. I will just also quickly mention before we get into anything else. One of the things, as mentioned, is brand new microphone. I'm a bit of a nerd for it. I'm not gonna lie, but me and Dave were literally just discussing this off camera, so to speak. But as I said to you, Dave, beforehand, yeah, what I now am in the possession of is a Shure SM7B, and it is beautiful. I'm absolutely over the moon for it. In terms of post editing, I don't actually know if I'm going to be coming in too hard or not. I have no idea. What did you say what your one was? Like,
it's definitely a Shure. I think it might be a SM4. I'm not sure. I'll have to research quickly. But it's funny that Shure just make the best microphones, basically, right? So,
why is that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No. I will also say, and it was something I was going to say to you anyway, Dave, off camera. The reason why I looked into Shure in particular was because I was at a music conference with our DJ Dan Singh, who we always talk about, but of course, he's never been on the show yet. But essentially, we both were at a music conference thing in London quite a few years ago, and Shure had a little area. And they literally had these two microphones opposite on a table, and yeah, me and Dan just put our headphones on. We listened to our own voices, and we were like, "Oh my god, this sounds amazing!" So of course, years later, I remembered what this brand of Shure microphone is. So, Dave, you are putting in a whole bunch of different RA things, but thank you for that as well. So that's good. I'm assuming that's for the topical discussion a little bit later on. There's actually something I'm going to send to you, Dave, because I want you to read this out. And this is actually forms part of our little news section. So we've been pretty busy with Changing Faces as a whole, because of course we have the live stream platform, we have the collections radio show, and then we have this, which is the podcast. So three chunky things. But in terms of the podcast, if you are tuning in from one of these platforms, which I will just mention, well, Dave will mention in a second, hello to you. Dave, you are looking at the private chat, are you not?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell everyone where people can tune in for the Changing Faces podcast? Read them all out.
Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Angami, is that? TuneIn, Podchaser, Castbox, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and Player FM.
Boom! How about that?
Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
So can you believe it? We are literally, so basically, to add context to this, we basically learned recently that we were only on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, TuneIn, Listen Notes. So we were only on 4, but now we've been busy because we've been getting them all on these things. And yes, if anyone's wondering, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Castbox are for US audiences or US territories, and Gami is for Middle Eastern territories. Just so everyone is aware. So that was one of the other things we wanted to quickly mention. And the other thing that is worth mentioning as well is we have been added to the Million Podcast list, or millionpodcast.com. And we are in the top 100 charts in the dance music category, coming in at 92. 92, Dave.
That's pretty good.
Are you eating a pizza as a salute to that amazing news?
I thought I'd sneak one in, a little quick bite. But yeah, no, it's really good. Just a big thank you to everyone listening so far to the podcast. Basically, we're already on the top 100 list. Go from here, man. Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, and because I actually emailed them to ask about like how it's measured and so on, but they managed to explain it adequately well, and it was really, really good to hear. So yeah, if anything, a very big thank you to everyone who's already tuned into the podcast. And it's quite amazing that we're already at 92 in the top 100 dance music category on millionpodcast.com. So thank you very much. And thanks very much to the Million Podcast team for letting us know as well. Dave Collins, whilst you're eating some food, is it worth, I guess it is worth mentioning, what's been going on with Change Faces Live? Because we've had quite a few guests, artists from our partners and so on. How would you sum it up in 20 seconds?
Exciting. Lots of DJs hitting Mixcloud Live on our channel right now. In particular, I had a nice surprise this past week, because one of our shows, Farcast, he sent me a show for mixed by Paulus, and he actually sent me a 2-hour mix, and I was like, oh, awesome. So we broadcasted 1 hour because he's got a 1 hour slot, but I've put the full 2-hour mix on our Mixcloud, so you can go and check that out if you want, and it's a really banging mix, basically.
Wow.
I definitely recommend it. Yeah.
That's really cool, and it's really nice that as well, because of course, it's extra content, and and it gives a good benefit to those who follow us on Mixcloud. And speaking of Mixcloud, actually, do you know what? I'm not going to mention about Mixcloud because that's going to come in about 30 minutes or so. Dave Collins, you would not believe it, but we are already we're already kind of behind on all the stuff that we are going to be talking about today. But what I'm going to quickly do now is I'm going to share the first bit of reacting stuff, as we call it. There's no real name for this section, but it's just sort of stuff to get us started with. But basically, this context is Mochak to the rescue. Those may have seen this because this was from earlier in May, but definitely worth covering. And just add a bit of context. Mochak did a post here where it says, quote, "There was someone passed out on the dance floor. People were waving to show and ask for help. No one was doing anything to get the guy off of the crowd and take him to the medical center. I'm not going to keep playing knowing someone is potentially hurt in the middle of a packed crowd. People can die in these scenarios, like the girl on Taylor Swift's show in Brazil. The Travis Scott incident, ... Of course, I need to stop the music for a minute. Everyone just kept looking, so I told my video maker to go there and do something to help the person out. After that, they could successfully get the guy out and in the hands of the paramedics, and then I resumed playing and everything was fine." And this is what you, and this was this is a quick picture of it. But of course, I'm a big fan of the fact that it had to be a Mochak's video maker that had to go in and jump in there. What do you reckon about that, Dave?
I like how people were just recording it. You know what I mean? Just sort of.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately, I guess that's part of the problem, really, isn't it? I mean, we're watching it, so yeah, we're being a bit hypocritical, but at the same time, yeah, you also know how busy DC-10 can get at Soko Loco, right, Dave? You remember that?
Do I? Oh my god!
Woo-hoo. Yeah, I would say it's not uncommon to, like, I don't know, be next to someone's armpits, for example. Do you know what I mean? It's very intense. Good party, good music, but yeah, there's a lot of people that like that stuff as well. And speaking of dance floor, actually, I'm gonna bring you into this other bit, actually, and this is something that was captured. I believe this was captured at Tomorrowland Festival. I'm not gonna say much more with this, but Dave, instant reactions.
What is it? Is that a guy with a carrot on his shirt? Is it?
Yeah.
What? What? What's he doing?
So for audio listeners, there's a gentleman in the dance floor of Tomorrowland, and I've tried to wrap my head around this when I watched it the first time, but it looks like he's like throwing up a salad, or he's like throwing up a bush. But I don't know where it comes from to begin with. But it's quite funny because the more times you watch it, you can see there's another guy in that like black hat in the background who's also looking at him, thinking, "What on earth is going on here?" But this is another classic of another classic example of random stuff that goes on dance floors, wouldn't you say, Dave?
Is this how vegans throw up? I love that comment.
Potentially, yes. I can only imagine that's what they do. But that's some of the lighter stuff with dance floors, to be honest with you, because of course things can turn south very quickly as well. And unfortunately, we're gonna go from Belgium to New York now. And those of you may have already seen this as well, because this was posted back in May 17th. But Dave Collins, I want your instant reaction to this video.
Is that a DJ or is that just some dude in the crowd? That's just some guy, isn't it? From the crowd. Man, look at the CDJ, bro. Fucking hell.
Yeah. There is some guy who went to attack the DJ, basically, the DJ booth. And many people hearing because he got forced out. So what I will say, I don't know how he.
That's wild, dude.
Like, how did he get there? Well, you know what I mean?
I have a song request though. Yeah. These comments are great.
Yeah, so this was courtesy of. Actually, do you know what? I forgot to mention just some of the people from the previous clip. So that first clip from DC10 about Modcheck, that was by at Technoway on Instagram, and then the other one was at techno.explicit. That was just for the guy throwing up a salad in Tomorrowland. And this one is courtesy of Electric Vibes USA, which has the caption quote, "Luckily, D-Dan and Tools recovered quickly and got their equipment working again very soon." And this was at Wirefest. And the caption, as you can see from the video, right at the top, it says, "Wirefest meltdown by Patron, #NYC." Dave, what's making people get so angry?
I don't know, man. Maybe he just genuinely had a song request, you know? Can you play the Fresh Prince? You know, he was that dedicated towards it.
But like I said though, how does he get there? Like, so he must have he jumped the front fence, but like he looks quite high up, so he just must have climbed up and then just climbed onto all of the DJ equipment or something.
I don't know. It's wild.
It really is, isn't it? Like I had questions. Yeah, and of course, yeah, you've got the likes of Rick underscore Tully saying, "quote If this happened 10 years ago, Homeboy would have had 2 black eyes before even touching the decks. Scene gone soft." What do you reckon about that, Dave?
He's probably right, you know. Like, where is it? In the States?
Yeah, it's in New York City.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Has the scene gone soft in the States? I don't know. Like, I can imagine no one wants to, like, if the bouncer punched him right there in front of everyone, that's a lawsuit, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I don't know, like, because the thing is, I just think, where's all that aggression come from? And then also just like he's literally all over the decks, and like just I don't know. I'm assuming he was going like in the first opening few seconds. I don't know whether he's trying to push him off the decks, but then yeah, like that's what it looks like they're trying to do. But then as he starts coming back, they were like, all right, so they pulled him instead, and then ejected him from the rear of the club. But yeah, some unfortunate scenes there because, of course, we didn't cover it because it was a while ago. But there was a viral clip of someone attacking Paul Kalkbrenner, if I remember rightly, in Ibiza, and that was or Madrid, I think it might have been. But that was something very similar, and I'm just thinking, why are people doing this all of a sudden? It's I don't know, like maybe it's just people are getting really angry at the DJ or what have you, or I don't know. There's something, or maybe it's what they're taking. They're just getting really, really angry.
It's the drugs.
It's the drugs.
Goddamn drugs, man.
But hey, let me just say that, and this will blend in beautifully now. But maybe they need to relax and chill out, and that is the perfect. Oh my god, what am I saying? That's the perfect transition into the next bit now, because Dave, have you ever wanted to get some high quality headphones for ASMR relaxation? Because don't answer, because we've got the answer for you, and this is courtesy of at Pudphones, and I want your opinion on this.
This headphone for people who enjoy the soothing sounds of rain while on the go. It consists of 2 half-open basins and a self-contained pump system with a precision water displacement unit at the top. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's already rain sounds that I can just play on my normal headphones, but with these, not only do you get the natural sound of the water, but you actually get the spray and the mist, and if it's windy, you get super wet. I made this headphone for people who enjoy the soothing sounds of rain while on the go.
Soothing rains on the go, Dave.
Wow. What a top seller. I'm going to get mine from Temu, you know what I mean?
What I loved about it as well is that the guy kind of looks like, he reminds me of Steve Jobs.
Jacob's going to buy it. Oh my god, what a pioneer.
I mean, let me just say, like, for someone who's based in the UK, I don't think we really need
You're
that.
supposed to trick it though, because instead of water, I would have had beer and then straws coming out the pots. You know?
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Ian Edwards' comic with a comment here saying, "quote Great, but how do you turn the volume down?"
You just don't turn it down for wusses.
Put less water in it, perhaps.
Yeah, put less water in.
Yeah, no, there's some very interesting technical innovations going on here, and to make it very forward thinking. But from the future, we're going to go to the past now, or a past time, should I say? Because, like I said in the intro, now years and years and years ago, like if you were in the presence of a bad act or something you were not a fan of, you would throw, as the story goes in all of the history books, you would throw rotten tomatoes or eggs at your displeasure of such acts. But allow me to demonstrate, behold, that such a thing exists even in 2025. So as you can see here, I'm not sure. Let me just quickly check to see if the sound is actually no. Yeah, he's playing music. So this is artist is called M.R. And this was him getting pelted with
Man, I like how he throws it back, like
rotten tomatoes.
You know what I mean? Like, you hate me, I hate you as well, man. What the hell? Wow.
I mean,
it must have been pretty bad. I don't know.
Yeah, and so this came courtesy of Instagram account at Rhythm Report, and it was actually shot by the Instagram account at Firmly Rooted Sound, and the post says here, quote, report says M.R. faced major crowd backlash after getting hit with rotten tomatoes and eggs mid-performance. No word yet from the artist, but social media is buzzing. Was the crowd out of line, or was something off with the performance?
I mean, I think the crowd is out of line. Remember we used to cricket Creamfields? And people would throw around bottles of dubious liquids, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, man, it's disgusting.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm a big fan of the fact that he's sort of like doing like this humping, like gesturing dance when people decide to throw the tomatoes. Yeah, someone hits him like right in the middle, right? Yeah, right. So
Where was that? What festival?
I don't think it says. No, there's no additional information, so it's unclear. It's unclear where this was. For any of those who did go to this festival or are aware of this footage, please do let us know in the comments, because we'd be interested to know. But it is quite incredible that even in 2025, people are still throwing rotten eggs and rotten tomatoes. Dave Collins, is that the type of thing that you would reach for if you are displeased with a performance?
It's the fact they've got it with them. I think it's the funniest part. It's like they bring it specially, you know?
That's actually incredible, isn't it? Like the fact that they've.
I said, where was it? A farmer's market? I don't understand how you get hold of that stuff.
Yeah, who's packing this? Like, you remember what we packed at festivals? Like, we packed like loads of alcohol and everything, and like random snacks and stuff. But like, yeah, they must have been like, we're packing the rotten eggs, we're packing the rotten tomatoes, because we're bound to hear an act we're not gonna like. So we need to make our voices heard by the gesture of throwing tomatoes and eggs, right?
Right. It's a wild world, this dance music world, man. Some proper loonies.
Yeah, I couldn't help but cover that, to be honest with you. But and speaking of covering, again, I'm trying to like, put all these things neatly together. Something that we've already covered, and it was actually in the previous episode, was about faking DJ sets
Oh, not this again.
Dave, we're going back to
I've
it
talked
again.
to a few people since then, and they all have my opinion. They're like, "What? People just play pre-recorded mix?" And I'm like, "Apparently so, man. Apparently so." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. What have you got? What's the news?
Well, in this case, it's up for debate. I would say for the justification of this, because I'm a bit on the fence with it, but I can kind of understand the reasoning. So, this is actually very recent. So, obviously, when we were speaking about faking DJ sets in our previous episode, this was based on a bit of viral footage that Deadmau5 had put up, and this was from quite some time ago, actually. But this, what we saw, or what I saw the other day, this was actually from posted on July 25th. So this is actually only as of the time of this recording, only a few days ago. But this is basically from Eric Prydz, Dave, if you remember him. And this is a post courtesy of Dancing Astronaut, which had the post saying, quote, while watching this Prydz stream, here's his response about his Sonar set being pre-recorded. He said there was only one working CDJ, so instead of cancelling, he put on a practice set he had recorded while programming Holosphere 2.0. And this is the actual statement from Prydz himself. Quote, yes, that's true. The Sonar set, air quotations, was a fully pre-recorded set made in Logic. Not sure who of you were there on the night, but the long delay and all the people running around on stage in silence was due to a malfunction of the setup I was supposed to perform on. Nothing worked at all. Only one CDJ. Oh yeah, only one CDJ with the USB in seemed to work. After trying to replace players, mixer multiple times without any luck, we all realized there wasn't going to be a show. My TM had a practice set for the programming of Holosphere 2 with him that the team had been using, and I made the call that it would be better to play something on that one CDJ than not playing and leave the 15,000 people and shut the arena down. E. Or Eric.
So
Dave Collins,
two minds instantly. Respect to the guy for having a backup mix on a USB stick. I always say that's always good to have for situations just like this. Having said that, I always, if you're doing a festival like Sonar, is that what they were? Sonar?
Yep.
Yeah, Sonar. Backup mixer, backup decks, a backup of everything, almost for every one DJ setup you've got a spare one in the back of the van. Do you know what I mean? Not even back of the van, underneath the table, you've got a backup setup just in case, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they had a full failure on the mixer or something. And I'd say, well, just have a spare mixer ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Hell, have an analog one. It doesn't require computers and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, at least he had a USB stick. I mean, fair play for that. But it's not perfect, is it? It's not ideal.
No, and do you know what? And actually, if you dig into his statement a little bit more, the way he's put it here in the middle, saying, quote, nothing worked at all. Only one CDJ with the USB in seemed to work. And then he says, after trying to replace player's mixer multiple times, they still didn't work. So what's going on there then, Dave? Would you say, is that down to like a lack of power? Things are not configured properly?
Let me show it really quickly, right? 2 seconds. It's just so happens I've got this.
Oh, I'll tell you what, how prepared is Dave for this bit? And this is fantastic. Audio listeners, he is reaching out to get a mixer, I believe.
I understand that having a full studio mixer or a full like Pioneer XYZ with 1 billion channels is required. But as a backup mixer, I always bring this. And it's basic as hell. It's just got 2 channels and just RCA outputs. But the reason is because if you've got a really complicated setup and it breaks, at least you've got something that just does the basics and it's easy to understand, easy to plug in, easy to go. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes with like a really complicated mixer setup, it can take you about half an hour to get it working. You know what I mean? But something bare bones like this, you can just whack 2 CDJs in and an output done. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, as a backup gear, I mean, that's what I use for backup gear. But I'm just saying, you can get a Pioneer one that's more high quality than this. Just a basic 2-channel mixer. You know what I mean? Yeah, just because I saw that the other day and I thought that's pretty much my backup mix that I would bring with me on gigs. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, and very well said actually, because I mean the other thing, like, I just can't help but think is that, like, this is Eric Prydz doing his Holosphere 2.0 performance, so he's a headliner, right? I just find it really odd that, like, even their replacement CDJs and mixers also didn't work. Like what's going on with that? And plus, like you said, he had 15,000 people waiting for him to play. You know what I mean?
And you'll find a lot of people use a lot of like MIDI controllers and stuff these days, or they'll use like, you know, again, what if your laptop breaks? Do you know what I mean? What's the backup plan then? So many things to think about, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, good point, because we actually witnessed this firsthand round when we were at Sunnyside Festival in Malta earlier in May. I think it was the first night. There was, I forget who the DJ was who was playing, but he had a laptop malfunction, right? And he had to end his set like 40 minutes early.
You had to end it. And it's like, man, you should at least have like backup USBs or something, right? I would say CDs, but apparently the new CDJs don't even have CD slots. So CDs are out now, I guess. But yeah, something just to bail you out, I suppose, because your laptop goes down, you are just snookered. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, and people can say, people will start to bring up, you wouldn't get that with a MacBook, you wouldn't get that with a Windows device, but trust me, you can get it on anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, your laptop can F up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it's totally worth having a backup in those scenarios.
Yeah, and I mean, in closing, I would say fair play to him for playing something, right? Because like, as he said, it was either he plays this pre-record or there's nothing. So
yeah, I mean, you got 15,000 people in front of you. Like, you've got to do something. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lesson, I think, on how to always have a backup plan. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a USB stick, just always have an idea of what to do. So.
Yeah. So if anything, the final word from Changing Faces is, as us being judges, you're being led off, Eric Prydz. You actually did well there, but for the love of God, try your best not to do any more pre-records. But if you're in that situation, good on you. Right, Dave?
Yeah, it's better than just getting on the microphone and just blaming the gear, which I've seen so many DJs do. They go, it's all broken. Like, mate, no one wants to hear that it's broken. They want to hear music. Sort something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was going to try and think of a way of transitioning this from our speech to the promo rollout, but I guess, if anything, if I can try, let's just say that Eric Prydz had a mix, and that was good that he had it. But somewhere else where there's loads of mixes is on our Mixcloud Select even. Dave, you're going out for a second. Cue the advert music to post future me, who's going to put the music in now. Yes, Changing Faces on Mixcloud, and we have loads and loads and loads and loads of content on there right now. I am not reading the script. This is just completely ad-libbed, but I will continue from here. It's hard to keep up with what's happening with Changing Faces because obviously we've got a lot of stuff going on. So of course you can find us on places such as Blue Sky, YouTube, Mixcloud, Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook. And be sure to follow and subscribe for the latest updates and new shows. If you come on, James, I can read this. If you are one of those that wants content like that, then be sure to head over to our Mixcloud and get early access to our content via Mixcloud Select. So with a Select subscription, you're going to get playback controls. You're going to get early access to shows. You can get exclusives thrown in there for good measure. And on top of all of that, it even supports us here at the Changing Faces headquarters, central command building. So where do you go? That's mixcloud.com/Changing Faces, all as one word, or find out more on our website, changingfaces.live. Don't forget, if you want something mentioning, be it a product, service, release, or whatever, in our sponsored break, be sure to email us at hellochangingfaces@gmail.com. Dave Collins, how did you feel about that ad roll? Do you think that was a good advert for Mixcloud Select on us?
Was it ad-libbed? It was a good ad-lib.
It was partially ad-libbed, partially scripted, because the script's quite old.
Just check our Mixcloud out. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That's it.
Yep. Dave's ad roll lasts 5 seconds. Go.
Check it out. Mixcloud.com/changingfaces. Boom.
Nailed it. Boom.
Yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe. Hey, we're cheap as well, by the way. We're only $3.99, right?
Cheap. Like a budgie. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because honestly, there are other Mixcloud Select subscriptions that you can subscribe to other people, but they charge quite a lot more. But like, we deliberately made it like as cheap as possible, basically.
Might I say, we pump out a ridiculous amount of content right now, so you get value for your money as well, right?
And actually, not to toot my own horn here, but Dave, I remember you actually mentioned to me on a private DM that you listened to the latest extended mix series, which was episode 18, done by yours truly. You really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that opening track was amazing. I loved that. I instantly I need to Shazam this or something. This is so good. Yeah.
So that was actually a recording from when I was playing in the Alchemist here in London, and it was. I've listened back to it as well. I also enjoy it. So we're going to move on now because we're going to go into the news, and we still don't have a news jingle yet. I haven't got around to asking our dearly beloved Katerina Santana for it, because she's the one who does all of our excellent music beds and so on, which is probably what you just heard a few moments ago during our ad reel. But if I say to anyone that's where we're going to go to now in regards to the news, and I say we're going to go to Belgium, come on, what goes on in dance music world in Belgium, Dave?
Just techno all the time.
Non-stop. I mean, apart from techno, but hang on, let me put it another way.
They just play it at the airport as soon as you get off the plane. It's techno,
No. What festival goes on in Belgium?
Oh, I'm actually rubbish. I don't really know. I don't know festivals. I know clubs.
We've never to give you a hint. We've never been.
That narrows it down. I don't know, honestly. Like, I can go Berghain or Trésor or anything like that, but I don't know about festivals.
No. So I'm referring to Tomorrowland.
Is that in Belgium?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I thought like you meant a city festival.
Wait, hang on. No, it is, isn't it? Or is it in the Netherlands?
I thought it was in the Netherlands.
Oh God, have I been getting it wrong? Is it in? Oh God. Wait, hang on, everyone. Sit tight. Tomorrowland.
It's in Antwerp.
Oh, it is in Belgium. Oh, thank God. So I got it right then.
Oh, right. No, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go on. I got mixed up then. Sorry.
No, I nearly got mixed up as well. I thought for a second I thought it was in the Netherlands. Anyway, Netherlands is next door, I guess. So
because I thought you meant Berlin for some reason. That's why I was saying Berghain and Trésor. Oh yeah, sorry.
No. Belgium.
Sorry to all listeners in Belgium. I got you mixed up with somewhere else for a second. Shit.
Oh shit. No. We are indeed talking about. Hang on. Does that work? All right. Sorry for everyone if that was a bit loud. That was coming in a bit loud for me as well. I'm just prepping the post. So what we are talking about, of course, obviously the number one thing that happens in Belgium every year, Tomorrowland Festival, Tomorrowland 2025 edition, and we call this section of the news Tomorrowland's main stage meltdown. Dave Collins, you wait there. You wait right there, because wait till you see this bad boy, because this is the shocking scenes that happened in Tomorrowland recently. Get a load of this main stage.
It is wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed nobody was hurt.
And yeah, exactly that. And actually, funny enough, there's like you can hear like popping sounds during that. I'm not actually sure what that is, but I can only imagine that's not good.
Yeah,
Let
probably not.
let me just quickly mention as well. This was courtesy of @Quinton_078 over on X. And before I come to you, Dave, I'm just going to quickly read off what I have written, even though I'm not a journalist, but I've written it anyway. Right before the 2025 edition of Tomorrowland was about to kick off in Belgium, a huge fire broke out on the main stage of the festival, destroying the majority of stage props, furnishings, garments, equipment, and parts of the structure. The damage was truly devastating for all partygoers, festival crew, and artists, as one of the key assets to the festival was essentially in ruins a mere hours before the festival was to start. However, all was not lost, as the Tomorrowland crew somehow managed to turn things around in just 24 hours by constructing a temporary, fully functioning new main stage in what was an incredible effort by the team. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab this. It's actually a picture, but it really demonstrates just the sheer speed of this. So let me just quickly close this one now, and I will show you what I'm referring to. So this is also courtesy of @Dancing Astro or Dancing Astronaut on X, and there is a wee photo of this said main stage.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
I've sent you another one, like a really good one, on the chat if you want to check it out.
I will do in a second. Let me add furthermore. So what you're seeing here is, or as I've described it here, building a short but long LED stage. The festival was allowed to continue whilst demolition and salvaging works took place directly behind the new main stage. Festival attendees made their gratitude known by giving them a round of applause, which again is a very nice gesture to see. And I'll just quickly get that footage as well, because I didn't realize there was actually so many links to this, even though I did do this, but I did this a few days ago. So here we are. Look, this is all the party goers. No.
You know, I heard they got the main stage finished like an hour before the festival was about to open.
I mean, all I will say to that is, there's two things to take away from here. I would say. Let me just quickly look at your.
It's just a shot of the main stage, like in action. So it's kind of cool. It's from a side angle. But can I just say, big shout out to Metallica, who basically saved Tomorrowland in this scenario, because it's all their kit. And they basically just said, yeah, you can use it. And I was like, God damn, like, well done, Metallica, for sort of bailing out Tomorrowland. And it's like, if I was going to choose any band that had a sound system capable of living up to Tomorrowland, it's Metallica's, because it's like one of the biggest sound systems on the planet. So I'm like, yeah, fair dues. Like, they're the guys to come in and save stuff, definitely.
Yeah, and that isn't that something as well, like of all the odds. And yeah, and you do mention it very well there as well, actually, is I mean, I like first of all, the first thing I will say is, did they do some form of, like, I mean, I come from a health and safety background, but like, dear God, did they not do some form of fire risk assessment? And like, what was there a high risk of a fire there? Because oh my God,
Can
like,
you imagine that happening during the festival?
it.
That would have been nuts.
Eh?
Imagine that happening during the festival itself.
Oh,
That would have been crazy.
yeah, because it's very good point. Very good point. Because I will say, like, although people could say, "Oh, that's really unfortunate. How unlucky of them," because it was just about to start. But like you said, imagine if it went off when people were there, like partying. Like, that would have been like absolutely horrendous. But like, at least like it hadn't started yet. But the fact that they were able to turn that round in just 24 hours is mind-boggling. And Dave, would you expect them to be getting a damn good bonus or some form of commission for that?
Oh yeah, I would. I'd give them all like double pay for pulling that off. No question at all.
Because that is, I mean, that's something, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
an absolutely
it's kind
incredible.
of nuts. If you look at some of the shots of the main stage, what's really cool, I think, is that you can actually see the wreckage behind it looming over the main stage, and it's like, wow, that's kind of an impressive sight. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like unintentionally, like, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna share that article that you mentioned here because you got an
Yeah, look at that.
photo there. It is incredible. It is an incredible. What started as a devastating story turned into an absolutely incredible story.
Definitely.
Yeah. Um, it was a nice it was a tragic story that ended nicely, a happy ending, so to speak. But yeah, huge congrats to the Tomorrowland team for pulling that off. And yeah, and just for making, and actually, yeah, I think I'm aware that there were no injuries either, which is very good. So it's
get all your props ready for next year. So Tomorrowland, you're gonna have to make them all over again. I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll be all right. But yeah, it's kind of wild. They dodged the worst bullet possible there, just about right.
They absolutely, yeah, and yeah, you're not wrong, mate. You're absolutely right. And hang on, let me have a quick look now. So okay, that's fine. I can't transition. I always want to try and transition to other things, but I can't really with this one. So I'll just go ahead and just bloody say it. But basically, the next bit of news, we're going to go over to Ibiza again, Dave. Ibiza, Dave. And we're going to be going back to something that we spoke about in potentially episode 2 or 3, I think it was. And we're going to go back to the Esvedra Rock. You remember that?
Yeah.
The big rock.
The one everyone's complaining all the tourists are messing up things, right?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
So there's been some recent news of this.
Have they banned the little hillside down the road now?
No.
What's happening now?
No. So this is actually in regards to, if I remember rightly, I did mention this very, very briefly, but it was about the story of Diplo, who did an illegal rave there on the Esvedra area. So the courts have recently ruled on this, and I will, for audio listeners, I will read what I have written out. So Diplo fined €300,000 from Ibiza City Council for Esvedra illegal party, courtesy of James Keith at DJ Mag. Following on from our recent coverage of the closure of Esvedra in Ibiza earlier this month, Ibiza City Council had officially fined Diplo €300,000 for the illegal rave party at the protected viewpoint on the White Isle. James Keith from DJ Mag writes, quote, "The event was reportedly attended by hundreds of people, despite the DJ and producer having no permit to host an event there. It's going to hard one. The Cala d'Ort viewpoint, which overlooks the Esvedra Island, is a protected area by the European Union through the Natura 2000 network and has also been declared an area of special natural interest. An investigation was launched by local police and the San Josep City Council not long after the event started. Immediately after the event, the City Council expressed its strong condemnation of the gathering. They added, quote, within a quote, "It is a vulnerable area in which this type of illegal activities promote the risk of fires, noise problems, waste, etc., and of course, endanger the integrity of the people attending." According to Diario de Ibiza, the investigation has now been resolved with a $300,000 fine, which is reportedly one of the largest ever handed out by the Department of Activities. End quote. Dave Collins, I'm going to come to you. Do you think the fine is far too hefty, or do you think it's absolutely justified?
It is kind of hefty, isn't it? Like, I wonder if the rave on the military base was just as serious as this. I have no idea.
Yeah, that
it's
lives in
wild.
our lore now. It's like, yes, the Belgian military air base rave. Yeah, we all remember that one. They were fined 178,000 euros, if I remember rightly, or something
They
like
were
that.
fine less than this, and they were raving on what, like a literal, like on tanks and stuff. I don't know. Like, I mean,
I mean, at
I
the
think it's.
Belgian one, the Belgian military air base, there was concerns that they were partying in and around live ammunition.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Dave, what do we think about this? I mean,
I think it is another sign that Ibiza is getting fed up of clubbers. Basically, they're getting cheesed off
mhm.
about dare I say it, dance music culture in a weird sort of way, because quote unquote illegal raves gatherings is sort of like a pillar stone of this sort of movement, and that they do not like it, man. They want everyone to party in the clubs and just party in the clubs, and it's a bit sad, I think. Really, is it ruining natural landscapes? I suppose you could argue that. Definitely, I'm not going to say it isn't, but is it obvious that the Ibiza government or council really getting fed up of clubbers? I think so as well, to be honest with you, man. So yeah, I don't know. I'm two minds of it, but 300k is a lot of cash, dude. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering as well that obviously now Ibiza City Council have fined Diplo this amount. Now, obviously, I don't think it's going to be coming in one big transaction. I'm assuming it'll be over a period of time.
Yeah.
How much do you think of the? How much do you think of this money is required to restore the viewpoint?
Is it damaged? It's probably not damaged that much, to be honest with you. It's probably just a deterrent fine. If I'm
Yeah,
being
because
honest with
I
you.
mean, as far as to my understanding, because I have to be clear here that me and Dave have never been there, or at least Dave, you've never been there, have you?
No.
No, I haven't been there either. And for those that I know that have been there, I don't really think there's anything really there. I think it's just open terrain and a few bushes and
It's really funny,
that's it.
like how this goes down there. Because I remember we went to Croatia and we went partying for the Unknown Festival, and people were literally having a rave in a Roman Colosseum, and the organizers were like, "Yeah, cool," and it was like, "Oh right, okay, like this is cool." So like, you can look at whatever way you want, but certain countries really care about this sort of stuff. Other countries are like, you know what, we don't really care where you have a party. Like, do you, man. So yeah. Do you remember that on the island? They had like a little tiny, I say Colosseum, a Roman arena. They had like a little tiny Roman era arena, and they were just having a
Yeah,
party in there.
it was like
Like,
a little amphitheater, wasn't it?
yeah, but that was like ancient, that thing. You know what I mean? It was like over 2,000 years old, and everyone was just partying in it. I was like, dude, this is wild. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right, and yeah, and actually, Croatia being a beautiful country, it is literally steeped in so much history. But yeah, you often find yourself just partying in and around these very historical areas,
yeah,
which I guess is just makes it really funny, I guess. But like, I mean, at the same time, I will say, you know, I'm usually for stuff like this. Usually, I wouldn't be too bothered about so long as they just clear up the mess like that they
yeah.
did. But obviously, I can only imagine with a party like this, they just didn't do it. But I could be wrong. But obviously, I don't think they did because obviously that's why they fined him, right?
Yeah, totally. And I don't. It'll be. We'll have to get down there one day to get his opinion on like Ibiza, because he's this is so close to his heart. It's insane. But in my opinion, ad hoc parties. That's sort of how Ibiza started. Do you know what I mean? Just people having a party in the middle of nowhere, and now you got to pay 300k to do it. And I'm just sort of like, man, how the island has changed. Do you know what I mean? It's totally different.
Maybe
But
maybe
yeah,
it's
I mean, what are you
maybe
gonna do?
maybe it's me just being a bit of a grown ass adult. But I did also think I wonder like because like I said, like I was alluding to in my previous question, that €300,000 is a fairly hefty fine, but obviously in terms of like restoring that area, there's nothing. It's just open terrain and a few bushes. So obviously they're going to pay for like a team to go out and clean up the rubbish, but like I'm assuming it's just that. Other than that, that's it really. I mean, they could probably use that money and inject it back into the local council, I guess, and local government, and like maybe be able to provide some extra services or whatever. So I would like to think there's a positive spin to it, but I mean, like I don't know what their Ibiza City Council is like, but like I mean, I would like
I'd
to
love
think,
to, yeah, I'd love to hear from someone living in Ibiza, like what's the vibe of the council and what do they give off in regards to club culture, because my opinion's always been that they hate it, sort of thing. But it makes loads of money, so they can't just like get rid of all of it. And so, but they want to pick and choose the parts of it they want to keep. And
absolutely,
so like that's maybe my opinion, but I don't live over there, so I'm not 100% sure. So I'd like to hear other people's opinions, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think, like you said, our colleague and friend DJ Dancing, yeah, he's very Ibiza's very close to his heart, and I think he goes there I think it's either twice a year or every year because he's got family over there. And yeah, he's a huge expert on this. But it is quite the fine. I will definitely say that. And I'm just glad it's him paying it and not me, because it'd be a long while before you get any of that from me.
I'm just never going back to Ibiza.
And actually, speaking of Ibiza, we're literally staying there because this is literally the island that just. I mean, there's just always something going on in this bloody place. I don't know what it is like, but for right and wrong reasons. So you could argue the fine's probably not a very good bit of news because obviously Diplo's been fined, but he obviously he had a crazy party or what have you. But now we're moving on to Ibiza Rocks or Ibiza Rocks Hotel.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me read you out the TLDR. Ibiza Rocks cancels events after deaths. Ibiza Rocks Hotel has cancelled all music events after 2 deaths have been reported in just 2 months. 2 months! 2 months! Anyway, Michael Lawson, our resident advisor, writes, quote, the San Antonio venue broke the news on Instagram yesterday, July 21st, explaining that, given the seriousness of the situation and out of respect for all those involved, the advertised events programmed will be paused at this time. This means that forthcoming shows with Dizzy Rascal and MC Kai, and others will no longer go ahead as scheduled. Gary Kelly, a 19-year-old man from Dundee, died after falling from a 3rd-floor balcony at the hotel yesterday. 26-year-old Evan Thompson from Aberdeen died in similar circumstances on July 7th. Further details on the incidents remain unclear, but in total, 4 people have died from a balcony fall at Ibiza Rocks this year alone, Daily Mirror reports. Ibiza Rocks, launched by Andy McKay and Dawn Hindle of Manumission, celebrated its 20th anniversary this summer. Dave Collins, do you want to stay there?
Nah, I'm all right. I'm good.
Okay, so yes, I did the research for this news and this news article, but I actually don't remember that last bit. They've had 4 deaths this
It's all from
year.
balconies as well.
Yeah.
I'm still on the ground floor, please, guys. You know what I mean? Holy shit. The balcony's that sketch.
Oh my God. 4 this year.
That's
From the
nuts.
same thing. Like, what's going on with those balconies?
After the first, you'd think like they'd be like, "Oh, okay, let's sort the balconies out." I don't know.
Like,
and people literally catapult themselves out of the room. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm sorry for laughing because obviously, it's a very touchy subject because we're literally talking about people that have lost their lives here. But
yeah,
how is it possible that it's all from the same cause? Like what?
I think an investigation is definitely warranted there, man. There's something weird going on with those balconies. You can't have 4 deaths in such close proximity and just blame it on drunk people. I don't know. Something weird's going on there.
Exactly. You're absolutely hitting the nail on the head. Like, yes, people can go a bit crazy, you know, and go a bit like, whoa, like with
How come you Schweiz never had this? People always have parties and balconies there, you know?
Yeah, or like just in general, like, you know, there's quite a few like, yeah, like that's a very good point because they've also got something very similar. I just I just can't wrap my head around it because like you said, people will drink, people will do drugs and what have you. And people will be a bit crazy on the balcony, but like seriously, like they're all dying by falling from the balconies. Like I can't. And far too young as well. Like Gary Kelly, 19 years old. Evan
That's
Thompson, 26.
crazy, man. Oh my god.
I mean, and as you can see from this picture, like sort of like oh, you can't really see my mouse, but I was just gonna say you can kind of see roughly how high up the third floor is. It's pretty high up, and obviously very clearly fatal as well. I mean, it's just yeah. And Ibiza Rocks, as you can see here on Instagram, did a official statement which reads out as, quote, "We are deeply shocked and devastated by the recent incidents that have tragically occurred. Our priority is to support those affected and their loved ones during this incredibly difficult time and to fully assist the authorities with their investigations. The safety and well-being of our guests has and always will remain our highest priority. Given the seriousness of this situation and out of respect for those involved, we believe it is right to pause our advertised events program at this time. All customers will be informed directly via email." Now, I know it's fair enough to say things like the safety and well-being of our guests has and always will remain our highest priority, but it's not a good look when you're saying that and like you're on the back of the fourth death this year, and we're only in July.
What are the socials saying on this? Are they getting roasted? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, very good point. I'm gonna click into this now, and I'm going. Oh, comments are turned off.
Oh right, that's good, isn't it? That's not a good look at all, guys. Jesus, like,
yeah, not really surprised.
yeah,
So
we're sorry, but no one can comment on this. You know what I mean? It's like,
hang on. So I'm just doing some investigating now. So I'm seeing another post here which had that has comments on So yeah, thankfully, yeah, a few people are commenting here, which I will just quickly read out. I know I'm not sharing it, but I'll just quickly share. Someone said here, everyone goes to Ibiza Rocks. Everyone goes to Ibiza Rocks are adults, and that should take full accountability for their course of action. Condolences to the families of the poor souls, by the way.
that's a cold way of saying it.
It's a bit cold, isn't it? At the end of the day, people who go to Ibiza Rocks know they are going for a good party session. They are there for the love of music, dance, and trance. What's happened is not the hotel's fault. It's a tragic accident. People do silly things when they are under the influence of any substance, be it alcohol or drugs, or be it completely stone cold sober. The person didn't intend to fall from this balcony. It was a tragedy. I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, yeah. What's your
opinion, Chang? Because yeah, I think an investigation's required to figure out why there's been 4 deaths in such a short amount of time. Like, you know,
like I said,
knackered. Yeah,
we're like halfway through 2025, and they've already had 4 deaths. Like, this is crazy. What type of place is this? I just can't get actually. Like, it makes me laugh just because of how bonkers it sounds. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, whoever the management are, like, please get your handymen in and
join our podcast and we can discuss it further. It would be great. That
look at your balconies, look at your balustrades, or what have you. But like, I don't know, like, yeah, a case by case basis, I guess. But are they literally just jumping off, or are they? Oh, what? I don't know. But like, I don't know. It's really bizarre.
19 though. Oh my god.
It's yeah. And credit to Michael Lawson from Resident Advisor, by the way, for this article. In closing, Dave, if we're going to go to Ibiza Rocks, we are staying very clear of all the balconies, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Ground floor apartments, please. You can't really fall far from them, can you? You know, so Yeah, it sucks though. I feel really bad about laughing about it, but it's only the
No,
ridiculousness of it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my
I'm
god.
I'm the same, mate, because it's just yeah, this is really a tough one.
Condolences to all the people who lost their lives. 19, though. My god, that's so too young. Like, jeez.
Yeah, 19 and 26.
Probably
That
his
is.
first holiday. Do you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I just think obviously because it's 4 deaths already this year, it's like it's gotta be there's gotta be something they can do to try and prevent more casualties like this because it's just like that's
just shut the
already gonna
window.
happen. They've
Balconies aren't allowed. I don't know.
they've
Keep the
gotta
windows shut.
yeah. Someone's got to look into those balconies because flipping heck, we can't have any more of this, can we? But yeah, rightly said, Dave. Yeah, condolences to those families. I know we were giggling about it before, but like giggling about it in the sense of it's the most you just can't even believe it's even a story over
Yeah.
there in Ibiza. And what a season it's been already, because of course we cover things going on in Ibiza. We've had fires, we've had massive new clubs opening up. We've had Will Smith randomly promoting one of them as well. We've had, and now we're having things such as this and illegal parties on Esvedra and so on. So the news doesn't stop in Ibiza, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. But as far as news is concerned, that would be all. But what we're going to move on to now is actually not to do with Ibiza, because we've had enough of Ibiza for one episode. But we're actually going to go back to Liverpool in the UK, and Dave has been on the scene, and it's going to be this is actually a topical discussion about Liverpool because essentially what I have written here. Hang on a second. Okay, so originally I will say that we were looking into potentially getting an interview with someone who had recently opened up a club. However, given that timings just weren't working out, we might do the interview at a later date or what have you. But for this reason, it didn't go ahead. However, as one of the other topics that I wanted to bring forward to discuss, especially with Dave as well, is about Liverpool and Liverpool clubbing, because like Ibiza and clubbing go hand in hand. Liverpool and clubbing also go hand in hand. And
It's
what
got a
I've
big
written
history of it.
here,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. And what I've written here is, quote, Liverpool has once been known as a nightlife hotspot with previous heavy-hitting spots and parties such as Nation, previously known as Snobs, which later ran the famous Cream events, which has now become a multi-festival and event brand with Creamfields, Cream Classical, and Cream Tours. The city is also home to Chibuku, Invisible Wind Factory, and Yusef's Circus Recordings label, and events which also became a household brand name in Liverpool's recent nightlife. Following the introduction of WAV 24 Kitchen Street and Blackstone Street Warehouse, which holds one-off events, there's a new party place on the scene, which is Soundyard. So this is another place that we were going to discuss a bit more about that with someone who is who's a part of Soundyard. However, it was worth mentioning that anyway because Dave, our investigative journalist now, as of
Oh,
as of
I like
this,
that title.
as of this episode, Dave, you've also been out and about in Liverpool. So before we talk about past and present, or before we talk about the past, let's just quickly talk about the present, because for those who don't know, Dave Collins has been out and about in Liverpool to various events. You've sent me a few links to some of the events that you've attended. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. So
Okay, cool.
there's 3
So
there.
So what I'll do is I'm going to click the first one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove it over here where I usually do on my computer, and I will, when you want me to, I'll share it on screen. But over to you, Dave. I want you to tell me and everyone else about the gigs that you've been going to. Go.
So I'm always one to look for random little gigs. I actually explain that before I go into this, right? So let me ask you a question, Shank. when you go to a gig, let's say it's a really big gig, what's the one side of it that you really like and the bit side of it that you don't really like, sort of thing?
In terms of the music, or in terms of how
Just
the event rolls out?
the entire event, basically, right?
I would say some of the things that I don't like is if I go to an event where the sound system's not very good. So you hear quite a lot of distortion, especially in bass frequencies and things like that. I'm a bit of a nerd for that. But if the sound system's not very good, that's a bit of a turn off for me. So I'm a bit like, and that actually makes me want to leave soon as well. Like just because I'm like, One of the other things I would also say is if it's absolutely packed, like to the point where I can barely move, that's a bit of a turn off for me as well. Those two things come to mind straight away.
So one thing I've been trying to explore recently is something we've touched on recently in our podcast, which is basically the community side of Nights Out, right? Trying to basically find grassroots nights that are just starting out and just seeing what they're like and talking to people and, you know, asking them why they did it, what inspires them, and just basically tapping into that, what I call the dance music community, right? That I think exists, but usually the bigger the event, the harder it is to understand where that community is because, you know, there's so much stuff going on. You can barely talk to anyone sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's sort of the idea for this. And quite literally, part of my sort of weekly sort of mission was to go and resident advisor, look for the events that are basically got like 20 people going and going, right, I'm going to check it out. I don't care that it's not selling out, you know, I've got hundreds of people going. I'm just going to go to the tiny one and see what it's like. And I think it's gone really well because the amount of people you meet and the amount of people that appreciate you even turning up, you know, the amount of times I walk through the door now are like, oh, thank you so much for coming along. And it's like, I've never had that walking into a big club. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like nice and refreshing, basically. But you're right. I mean, the other things, a good sound system. A lot of this is basically checking out venues that, again, we've talked about this on the show before, trying something different, being a bit brave, letting promoters take over their spaces and letting them just try to promote their sounds. Now, one of the first ones I went to was a place called Push the Sound. And I don't know if you can load up their flyers on here, Chan. Can you bring it up, or I don't know?
There it is.
There we go. And these guys did a night at the so there's a place called the Casimir Gardens in Liverpool, and they recently opened like a second room called the Cabin, and it's basically what the best described as a rave box. They got like a really good sound system in there, and people can go and just hire it out and just play some stuff. And it seems like every week they've got a different record label trying different things. And these guys are playing some like really trippy techno, really dark stuff, and that in itself is kind of brave. The entire street's doing house and disco, and these guys are doing the grimiest techno you can imagine. And I'm like, yeah, well done, guys, for trying this out. There's about 15, 20 people here, some fantastic DJs, and yeah, I mean, it was really nice to experience that. Definitely. Have you been to a gig like that? Best way to describe it, sort of thing.
Well, I mean, it's been a while for me, but like I totally get what you mean, because I know there's been one or two like smaller events I've been to in the sense to support whoever it is that's doing it. It's mainly, I'll be honest, it's usually because I've known the person, so they've sort of said, "Oh, I'm doing an event. It'd be great if you could come," and I also understand that type of help to give people to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll come," just to be like that extra person, but it's funny. Like, one thing I will say actually, because as you asked me in the intro of this, is that I said that one of the bit of the turnoffs for me is when a room is so packed I can't even dance. But believe it or not, like for me, sometimes for people, a turnoff will be if you go into a club and it's dead. And
yeah,
I get it. I can be like that as well. So if it's completely empty, then I'm a bit like, oh, okay, not great. But I will say there are those who will still be turned off at a night if there's like 5 people in there. But honestly, that does not bother me. Like, 'cause I just think that's more space for me to dance, so I actually don't mind.
Well, I'll
So,
tell you, the genius of this space is it links into the Casimir Garden. So the Casimir Garden was rammed basically all night long, which it always is. Like, it's a fantastic venue. But because this has like basically an open door policy, people that are just a little bit curious were just walking in from time to time and just listening to the music. And that was so cool. The room never got rammed, but you had a rotation of people coming in constantly and just trying out different sounds. And I thought that's really cool. So it had to get a shout out first of all, because it's kind of a nice, I like that open doorness, right? I like the idea that you can just walk in and see what it's like. And I literally saw people walk in that loved it, and it's like the first time they'd heard techno. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, bang on. That's how it should be.
yeah, and actually, it's worth mentioning here a little bit of the description here. So it says here, quote, push the sound launches in the cabin with a hybrid set from hardware legend Dr. Kronos, plus support from on wax from DJ CD and DJ Fabrication. Expect vibey doc techno explorations, end quote. That's from Tash Evans. And then it also says down here, a multi-genre night exploring the deeper side of electronic music, from dub techno and glitch to drone and progressive trance. Expect vinyl-driven sets and raw hybrid/live performances, focusing on texture, rhythm, and space. A curated journey through hypnotic sound. End quote.
Yeah.
Beautiful, though, isn't it? And
it was kind of a good pitch. That's where I went. So I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good, sort of thing.
And you can't go wrong with something like that. But what was the next one you went to?
So the second one I didn't go to, but I wanted to add it on this list just as an example of little gigs to check out. And that's every now and then you'll see record label launches. And this was, I really wanted to go to this, but I honestly just fell asleep on the day after. But it was a record label from Portugal called Nugs on Board.
Yeah.
And they were launching a sister label called Red Bell Records. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out of, like, you will see a lot of record labels try and launch their night sort of thing. And the next time these guys are in town, I'm definitely going to do it. But again, I think these sort of nights are really cool to try and track down, especially if you're like a producer and you're trying to get your music heard, because everyone here is in the same boat. And so that's the reason I'm mentioning it here. If you're making your own music at home sort of thing, and you want to get involved in the DJ scene, a record label launch night is like the best sort of nights to go to, in my opinion, because everyone's there to network. So that's the only reason it's in that list. So definitely, like, just thought I'd give it a quick shout out. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, really interesting poster, the designs that they've done here as well.
It is fun, isn't it? I like the style. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's really nice, actually. And as you can see here, quite a few people from that team, Manata, Dig This, Samuel Padden, and 4D, who's the UK artist. And as it says here, quote, we are back in the UK to present the release party of our sister label called Red Beryl Records. From this event, we will be hosting some of Liverpool's finest. Dig This from Zuku Crew, plus Samuel Padden, 4D, and Manata. Get ready for a night filled with nuggets on the newly refurbished Capsule Club, the brainchild of Invisible Wind Factory and Liverpool-based Sun Palace Sound System, who operate the UK's only quadraphonic RLA system. See you there. I don't even know what a quadraphonic RLA system is. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another great example of another great venue as well, because obviously you mentioned the other place was Cabin. This one, Invisible Wind Factory.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So next time for sure. I feel bad for missing that one out, but yeah, next time we've got to definitely check out those guys.
Still an interesting event, and definitely these are the ones you want to look out for, isn't it? And then you've got you linked me a third one. Did you go to this one?
I did, and this was an interesting one actually. First time I've seen anyone do this. So this one was called, if you got the link there, I forgot the name of it already. Low Key, that was it, yeah. And it was on Sunday, right? So I give basically I think I went out Saturday to see a band, and then on the Sunday I was like, yeah, I want to have a bit of a party still. So I went out Sunday night, which is Sunday's usually pretty quiet, right?
Yeah.
But these guys were doing what they called an ambient rave, and I was like, I've never heard of an ambient rave before.
No,
And
never
reading
have
through the description, they're basically mixing techno and like chill out and dub and all this sort of stuff.
Huh.
And I got talking to when I got there, I got talking to the DJs and guys promoting it. Really friendly people, man. So chill. And like the sets were like the complete opposite of how I'd expect a nightclub to go down. Instead of everyone sort of raving and dancing, they literally had bean bags out. People were just chatting to each other while the DJ was spinning records, and it was such a cool, chill atmosphere. And it's the first time I've sort of seen that happen in such a slick way. So like I got a beer and I was talking to just this, I think the guy running the night, and just sort of like his inspiration for doing it and stuff. And people were just chatting to each other and exchanging music ideas, and just sort of different concepts of music. And the DJ was just almost just facilitating the conversation with some nice beats. There was a moment where I think it was Mia who's the third one there. Yeah, it was, because I went home at like 11ish. The third one there, you said Mia Mai on the lineup.
Yeah.
Say her name properly. But she was really good because literally she went on the decks and everyone was just quiet observing her for like 15 minutes, just sort of like soaking in this mix until she dropped the beat and then everyone started talking then, you know what I mean? Because the energy went up a level. But it's a really cool venue as well. It's called Commune, and it's super tiny, but it's got that really cool like social atmosphere about it. So yeah, again, like you only find these places if you just take a risk and just go along and just sort of go, right, I'm just going to see what it's like. And honestly, like it's just worth a go. If you want to get involved in the dance music community, stuff like this is the best place to sort of find them, in my opinion. So yeah, again, fantastic little club, rave sort of thing.
Yeah, and I'm also a huge fan of the low key artwork there.
It's a cool idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Really interesting. Because I'm a bit of a geek for like branding and shapes and logos and stuff. That's really good. That low key artwork on that poster there. The one and only ambient rave event in Liverpool. Yeah, what an interesting concept as well. And as it says here, quote, Alinea Events is happy to be hosting the one and only ambient rave in Liverpool. Enjoy chilled out versions of your favorite genres from the best of dub, trip hop, chill out, ambient, IDM, and electronica. We have a range of Liverpool DJs set up to make it an evening to remember. This event is suitable for die-hard ravers looking to try something different, and a great introduction to the rave scene for those who just want to dip a toe in. Try something new this July at the Commune. Is it the Commune or the Commune?
The Commune. That's what I've called it. Oh. Yeah.
I know in Italian you'd call it Commune, but like it might just be the Commune. I don't know. Yeah, and also again, and one thing I think is very consistent with some of these events, which I think is very cool, is the low-cost tickets. Like these are literally £5 to £6 to get in. It's just absolute bargain.
I have a policy with these gigs too, because this is a topic I might touch on later. But ticket vendors take one hell of a cut of ticket sales, man. It's insane. So I always pay on the door in cash. It's just, if I can in cash. If not, just pay on the door at least. Because like I think, how much does Ticketmaster charge or something? I don't know. It's like 30% of your ticket sales goes into thin air towards ticket venues. So yeah, pay on the door if you can. You're going to get in. It's not going to be so rammed you can't get in. But yeah, just pay on the door, guys. That's the way I would see it, because more money goes to the promoter. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And this is one hell of a difference, especially when you compare. The opening night of Universe was €150 to get in, God, and this is just £5. You know what I mean? It's I know I'm talking about different lengths here in terms of different events and what have you, but a gig is 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 a gig, as the film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World says. And a very interesting piece of events there, and some very interesting venues and events there, and very well covered, Dave, I would say as well. And actually, just to go back to sort of the introduction to nightlife culture in Liverpool. And it's fair to say that, as mentioned, there was once upon a time there obviously was the nightclub Nation, which was obviously previously known as Snobs, and not only that, it was a bit more than that, and there was also the Casimir, which was the venue club, if you call it. But I mainly knew it as a venue. That was part of the adjacent venue known as what we call as the Cas Gardens, and this is all on. This was sort of in between, for those who may know Liverpool a bit. It's in between Seal Street and Wolstenholme Square. But to paint you a picture, this area is more or less in the direct centre of Liverpool. And for those who've never been, it is, of my opinion, I'm sure Dave you'd agree with this as well, that in terms of nightlife in Liverpool, there are like two hotspot areas. And I'm not saying there's no other nightlife beyond there, but what I'm saying is there are two cores where there's a lot of nightlife businesses and so on, like bars, pubs, clubs, yada yada yada, right?
Well, it's actually expanded now, I think, to 3. But yeah, go on.
Well, what I mean is, in terms of a few years ago, it was mainly Concert Square,
yeah,
and Matthew Street.
They were like, it's got well bigger. Yeah,
I grant you it's bigger now, but in regards to just based on our own history as well from a few years ago, Concert Square was sort of like was one of the cores, and just off from there you would have the likes of Seal Street, you'd have Bond Street, Seal Street, and then you would have, I can't remember the name of the street, but now I can't remember the name. But then you would also have neighbouring areas such as Wolstenholme Square, and I'm gonna link you to something now, and it's not a very nice article. That's all I'm gonna say, Dave. So be prepared to get angry. But this is courtesy of confidentials.com, and this was written by Larry Neal. This was a long time ago. This was back in 2017. But essentially, it's a quick telling of the story of Wolstenholme Square as a nightlife hotspot. Because as you can see in this picture here, these buildings here, the black buildings, that was Nation, aka Snobs. That's what it was called back in the 60s and 70s, I believe. So this was one of the major nightlife hotspots. This was like huge. And obviously next door, this white building here, that was the Casimir. And both were pretty big venues and who'd host a lot of events. And as you can see here, here's a close-up of what Nation was. And obviously that's a picture of when it was flattened. Now, essentially, I'm not going to bore you with all the immense details of this story, but essentially what happened was that the land was repurposed to be redeveloped into what this is, which is a property development, which I believe was by a development company called, I think it's called Wolstenholme Square Property something. It's linked in this article, but there it is. Look, Wolstenholme Square Development Limited. Now, part of the idea, so to speak, with this Wolstenholme Square redevelopment is that they were going to bulldoze and get rid of Nation and the Casimir. The Casimir Gardens was saved, but I'm not actually quite sure how that was saved. It was, but it was, including this cabin place. So that was somehow saved as well. However, everything else was due to go. Now, obviously, there was a bit of backlash in the city of Liverpool because obviously people saw the cultural value in these two big, important venues. Now, when this was being redeveloped, there was going to be a pledge, if you remember this, Dave, that the basement of this new development was going to be the New Nation, aka a nightclub just for cream. Do you remember me telling you this story years ago?
Yeah.
So this was a follow-up from this so-called rumor, and the news article states here, quote, "Cream's not happening in Walsdenham Square." And then Larry Neal writes, "A pledge to build a new club in Walsdenham Square to replace legendary nightclub Cream, aka Nation, has been dropped. 3 years ago, when developers were finally given the go-ahead to completely demolish and regenerate what possibly was Liverpool's last unspoilt cobbled square, the late inclusion of a new basement club was seen as a consolation for destroying two of the city's most famous nightlife assets. Cream Club Nights, which took place inside the square's Nation venue, once attracted visitors from across the world. The neighbouring Casimir Club, home to perhaps the most significant and vibrant arts collective remaining in Liverpool city centre, was bulldozed at the same time."
Yeah. Don't forget the pleasure rooms as well. That also went.
Oh yeah,
just across the street. Yeah.
So essentially, and this is actually even up to now, actually, which is a bit shocking, really. But work already being advanced on reshaping Walsdenham Square with the development of high-rise residential blocks. And this, and again, this is old news, so this is obviously back in 2017. It says here, quote, "Developer Walsdenham Square Developments Limited wants to change the scheme and scrap the promised basement club altogether. No reason has been given for the change." Despite opposition from 3 local councillors, including frontbench cabinet member Steve Mumby, the planning officers are recommending the committee to give the go-ahead to the changes, saying they, quote, "overcome previous concerns about the potential conflict between residential and late-night uses." Councillor Mumby and ward colleagues, Michelle Corrigan and Hetty Wood, have each objected to the application, saying the proposals represent a fundamental change to the original scheme, which conflict with the Rope Walk's planning framework. They also say the changes threaten massive damage to the city. What it now emerges is the permanent removal of Cream, aka Nation. Now there is a little bit more to this, right? Which I've never. This has never sat well with me, because so the first bit is obviously these developers now just backtracking, saying we're not actually going to make a club anymore, and they changed the scheme. But you can't really see it here, but in this picture you see there's a little building here. Now there was an adjacent building called the Sawmill, right? The Sawmill,
Yes.
and it was sort of part of Nation, right? Because oh, it's going to real test of your memory, Dave. But you remember the courtyard room?
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, say if you're at the back of it and you're facing forward where the stage is, do you remember that bit on the right-hand side where there was another bar?
Yeah.
In there, that was another building. That was called the Sawmill, right?
Yeah.
So that was originally going to get saved. However, this story says, quote here, "Nation near the Sawmill, which was destroyed in an arson attack, just glimpsed to the rear." So obviously, as that picture suggests. Let me quickly.
That got knocked down. What are they on about?
Let me quickly move. It's down here somewhere. So here we go. Yeah. So it says here the original application was approved only after changes were made to accommodate a basement nightclub to replace Cream/Nation and a new music venue in the former Sawmill building at 5 Parr Street, which was demolished without authorization. Quite incredible stuff here, actually. Oh, here we go. Actually, no, sorry. So here we go. So it says here, before bulldozers declared war on the historic square, it was occupied by what the official report describes as a series of post-war low-level warehouse-type buildings along the northern side, which housed the 2 nightclubs, as well as a historic 3-story sawmill at the very eastern end of the site at 5 Parr Street. The original plans saw the mill building in a conservation area earmarked for redevelopment as a music venue. However, it fell victim to a mysterious arson attack 18 months ago and was subsequently demolished by the developer Elliott Group on, quote, health and safety grounds.
Bit sus. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the revised development as now proposed would comprise of 4 new buildings with staggered heights varying from 7 to 10 stories. These buildings contain 448 units of residential accommodation above ground floor commercial units. A number of local residents have commented on the amended scheme, some expressing concerns and describing the deletion of the planned club as a, quote, huge shame, as this was an important asset to the culture, to the city's cultural identity. Others say the proposals lack character and not sufficiently sensitive and are not sufficiently sensitive to the historic and culturally sensitive location this site occupies. Another local resident says, quote, the flats are bland, unbelievably small and poorly designed and will only create small, poor quality, generic accommodation suitable for the buy-to-let market rather than for couples or families, end quote. I'm gonna finish here with I think it's down here. In their conclusion, the planners say, and this is in regards to the amended plan, where it's the removal of the club. In their conclusion, the planners say, when completed, the scheme will substantially change the character of that part of Rope Walks into a modern mixed-use area containing ground floor bars and restaurants with a substantial residential offer above. The planning officer adds, quote, whilst concern has been expressed for very understandable reasons about the loss of 2 valuable assets to the city's cultural offer, the omission of these elements of the scheme is outside the control of the local planning authority. The proposals as amended still provide for the redevelopment of the site and deliver the economic benefits that the previous scheme achieved. The changes also overcome previous concerns about the potential conflict between residential and late night uses, end quote. Dave Collins, I was quite angry or quite annoyed when I read this story because obviously, for those to add extra context to this, now Dave, you've been to Liverpool recently, but it's all right if you didn't notice. But the last time I went to the Wolstenholme Square area to look, right, the last time I went there, there is still fencing around the ground floor commercial units, and they are all still empty.
Mm-hmm.
The flats, I believe, are all done and all occupied, but there's still no one in the commercial ground floor units, and the whole square is just completely dead. No one goes there anymore. And in terms of Liverpool nightlife culture, considering we obviously went to both of these venues, both staples in the nightlife history, especially in Liverpool. The fact that Cream's got its own little section in the Liverpool City Museum says enough, right? And as you rightfully said, Cas Gardens, you said was busy. Cabin, obviously, a few people here and there, right? Now, what does that tell you about Liverpool nightlife? Because if the Cas Gardens is busy, right? Like, what's gone on here? Like, is this a case of Liverpool took 2 steps back in terms of its nightlife culture? And do you think it can be saved? Dave Collins.
Well, I can only say what I thought was the situation, and my thoughts on the situation were the owners of Nation wanted to sell up anyway, right? And it was either they sell the building on or they just shut it down. People don't really remember, but towards the end of sort of the Cream Nights, they didn't happen every weekend. They happened maybe 3 times a year, basically.
Yeah.
So that venue is only open about 3 or 4 times a year in the last couple of years of its life, whereas in the past it was open every single weekend. So that's the situation that venue is in. So the fact it was getting knocked down or sold on, yeah, I can sort of understand that, to be honest with you. It's a real crying shame because I really like that venue. But yeah, when you've only got 4 gigs a year, yeah, it sort of makes sense. Now, if they're going to build a new club, then that's great. But I think what's happened to Liverpool at the moment is actually probably more beneficial than people realize. I'm really happy that the Casimir survived, the Cas Gardens, because I think that's kind of a unique place anyway.
Yeah.
What's happened now is since Nation has shut down, a lot of brands and basically other clubs that used to go to Cream have started their own parties and their own brands. And that's sort of had this effect, especially since COVID, of basically loads of little grassroots things popping up. There's more grassroots stuff in Liverpool now than I remember there being when
as you've
Nation was
seen,
about. Yeah,
right?
and case in point is 909. If you know that brand,
Yeah,
909 is basically a bunch of people that said we used to love going to Cream and we were gutted when it got knocked down, so we're just going to continue the parties in the same sort of vibe of what Cream used to be. And their events are sick. They're really good, man. Like recently, they had Sasha and John Digweed back to back. They had that at the Dome. Again, the Dome's a new venue, which has sort of been brought
yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah,
You know, 24 Kitchen Street, that's a new venue. That's sort of, it's not the newest, but it's newish. You know what I mean? WAV is pretty new. The Blackstone Street Warehouse is new. Invisible Wind Factory, as far as I know, is sort of all these places came from the ashes of Nation getting destroyed. So it was sad to see Nation go, but I think it was for the benefit of the club scene in general, because they always say that you can't have, if you've got a giant juggernaut club in the city, it sort of bleeds the club culture dry a little bit.
mm,
And what's happened now is the juggernaut has basically fell, and loads of little brands are popping up all over its corpse without sounding disgusting. Do you know what I mean? But everyone's sort of vibing with what Cream was and doing their own versions of it. And I think that's great. I love that so much because I think that's more about what club life is than just having a big super club. In a weird sort of way, I feel that at the moment, Manchester and Liverpool have got like opposite cultures in the how things are getting done. So Liverpool's got loads of the grassroots stuff and things going on. Manchester, they had grassroots stuff about 15 years ago, and they've turned into juggernauts, and they're amazing brands. Wrong, Warehouse Project, they're literally like some of the biggest brands going.
yeah,
But that's what can happen
yeah,
once you give grassroots places a chance. Some of them are going to turn into the next big thing, and I hope to see that from Liverpool, basically, right? Now going back to this demolition, I think it sucks that it's got turned into flats. Don't get me wrong, that sucks big time. It also sucks that Promise clubs were never built. Like I said, it's nice that the Cas Garden survive. It's kind of funny to watch it now because it's surrounded by huge apartment blocks sort of thing. It didn't used to be that at all.
yeah.
So it never gets any sun anymore. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and actually, that's a really good point. And actually, I was just thinking, for those who don't know what Cas Gardens is, Dave, how would you describe it?
It's basically like a little hippie garden, basically. But it's really good. They've definitely invested a lot into it. When it first opened, it was literally someone went to a garden centre and got a bunch of garden tat and just basically built a bar out of MDF. But it's got really good now, and they've expanded it into. It's got 3 rooms. It's got the main room. It's got this camping place, and there's even a place at the back where bands play. And at most nights, all 3 rooms are doing something different, and I really like that because you can literally. It's got this culture of like every room's a different vibe, and that's really cool. I like that. That's definitely that's a plus in my book. So it's one of the places I recommend on Seal Street now is the Cas Gardens.
Yeah,
it's sort of one of my little watering holes I always pop by. Definitely,
absolutely, and 100% for me
they
as
do
well.
food there now. Do you remember? Have you seen that recently? They're doing food. Like,
Yeah, don't they do it upstairs? They have an upstairs bit, don't they? Or was that a few years ago?
that's a few years ago. They got like a food caravan in there now and everything. That's pretty new. So that's kind of fun. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing actually, because like you rightfully said actually before, is that when Cas Gardens was still there, like it is now anyway, but when it was the Casimir Nation was next door, as Dave has said, there were no high rises around the Cas Gardens. So obviously when you went there, it was very often that you could just chill in there and like sunbathe, I guess, because like you had loads of sun because you had like it was all open air. But it is now literally surrounded by 3 high-rise blocks, I believe, on your left and right and behind it, so to speak.
Yeah. It does get still a surprising amount of sun, but it is surrounded by high rises at this point. So yeah.
And to describe it as well, and I'm hopefully going to do it some justice here, but the reason why we like it in particular is simply because it's something that when you were walking up and down Seal Street and when you see it for the first time, there's genuine intrigue and curiosity because
there's like a little bell tower. It's just sort of random. Yeah.
Yeah, it's simply like a wooden fence, but then there's like a little doorway and above that doorway, as Dave said, there's like a small bell tower. And like, it's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. And then obviously when you walk through this little doorway, you're in the Cas Gardens, and it's not like it's not grass or anything like that. It's like pebble, isn't it? It's like pebble,
like gravel and stuff like
yeah,
that.
pebble gravel
Oh.
grounds. And now like, I think half of it is indoor now, isn't it? They've got like a little canopy thing.
Yeah, they've got like a tent thing which they put on at night, basically. But it's really cool. It, we can talk about venues that we like all day long, but they always have DJs playing on wax as well, which is always appreciated. So, like, that's a really nice thing to see. It just gives it a nice sort of culture, definitely.
Yeah, it is. And just in regards to nightlife culture, now, obviously, we can't speak for all areas because we'll be here all night, essentially. But I mean, obviously, we've largely covered the Concert Square area and Seal Street and what have you. And now I know some people who will be local to Liverpool will be probably saying to us, like, why aren't you speaking about Matthew Street, for example? The only reason why I'm not going to mention it that much is because, first of all, it's probably one of the most famous streets in Liverpool, and virtually everyone knows Cavern Club. So a lot of tourists go there because they know it's all there anyway. So I'm going to refrain from commenting that much just on Matthew Street, just based on that alone. But and also, I would also like to say Matthew Street I don't think that's ever changed. It's still as it was years ago. The only reason why we mentioned Concert Square and Seal Street in particular is just obviously just to cover things such as Nation and the Casimir that have disappeared, which you could argue was tragic. But like you said, Dave, it was it on just borrowed time? It sounds like it. Yeah. And
yeah, I think it was personally. It's not like Cream have stopped their events. Cream Classical is a thing,
Oh yeah.
And Cream Field's as big as ever. So I don't think the brand's gone anywhere. Far from it.
I'm going to bring you to this as well, actually, to this other story from, again, confidentials.com. And this is about 10 streets, the coolest places to visit in Liverpool's North Docks. So to describe once again, 10 streets is like the coined term for the area in which, obviously, as it suggests, the North Docks of Liverpool. But Dave, just to add some context to this, in case you haven't heard this term before, but this is where we're talking about Blackstone Street Warehouse, Invisible Wind Factory, all of that area. So they're calling it 10 streets because that's literally what it is. Now, obviously, this article is covering all aspects of the 10 streets area, and its regeneration has mainly stemmed from the regeneration of this huge warehouse building. It's literally the most enormous thing you've ever seen in your life. Look how bloody long it is. It's massive. And then also the Everton Football Club Bramley Moor Dock Stadium, which is currently under construction as of the time of this recording. However, there are other things that are knocking about in this area that is, again, stuff to do in the daytime, but there are things obviously to do in the nighttime. So things such as 10 Streets Wine, Invisible Wind Factory, as it mentions here. There are still some of the old school pubs here as well, and also things like the 10 Streets Social as well, where you can get mixture of food, grub, and drinks, and then another recording studio, Vulcan Recording Studios, and the Murphy's Distillery and Bar. It's fair to say that, especially judging from this article, that the future of Liverpool nightlife culture may rest in areas such as this. Dave Collins, you've obviously been around in some of these areas, as have I as well in recent times in the previous years. Would you say this is going to be the new hotspot?
Well, it's funny you saying earlier. Like, I think there's two hotspots at the moment, actually. 10 Streets is sort of new. It was really run down for a very long time. I'd say parts of it still pretty much are. But the venues I always sort of know this area for, I always call it the Glegg Street area, because on Glegg Street is where WAV is, right? WAV's expanded a lot recently. I think they've doubled the size of their venue already by having an outside area sort of thing.
Actually, and WAV WAV is part of this 10 Streets area as well.
Yeah, and then down the road you've got Meraki, and you've also got the Invisible Bin Factory.
Yep.
You've got Pirate Studios knocking about, which is
Yep.
the first time I went in the area to try and find some, again, Pirate Studios is really good. If you've not been there, it's a pretty cool little studio. And then the one venue everyone sort of knows is Blackstone Street Warehouse, which has had some amazing gigs happen there, actually. I'm really surprised how often they get in big names in. So that's what that area is known for. And it's definitely getting bigger and bigger, definitely. And it's sort of nice to see. It sort of shows that music thrives, and like it's kind of odd. You can tell it was the cheapest venues in town, but it's sort of music has rejuvenated the area, right? So I think it's a good use case for how nightlife culture can basically like make things new again. Like totally, this is literally a story of it, seeing it happening live. So yeah, the other side of town, which is probably a bit more, it was going through this phase about 10 years ago. And that is basically where 24 Kitchen Street is, the Arcane's brewery.
Yes.
All that area is, honestly, mate, I walked down there the other day, and it's really good now. They got like a skate park, and they got loads of little cool bars and venues and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is actually really fun.
Yeah.
So like, it's expanded in both directions. For context, that's on the south end of the town, and then this is on the 10 Streets is on the north end of the town. So it's going out like this, right? So
yeah, and actually, I'm sure Liverpool residents will be screaming at me for this, but yeah, actually, I did actually forget about the Baltic Triangle. But yes, like Dave says, Kane's Brewery has been there, and yes, there are multiple hotspots around there now, and yeah, that is obviously the trendiest area. God, I can't believe I've missed Baltic Triangle. Oh God,
honestly, mate, it surprised me because I remember that area being a bit drab. I walked down, I was like, man, they've really invested quite a lot into this. So yeah, fair dues.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh God, what's the name of that venue? There's a venue there, isn't there? Is it still there?
The big one.
Yeah. What's that called?
24 Kitchen Street, I think.
There's 24 Kitchen Street, but I'm sure there was another one, wasn't it? The big indoor one. We went there a few years. I remember a few years ago. I remember Chibuku did a huge event there. We saw Kink live there. Oh, I can't. Oh no, it's coming to me. Is it something Furnace?
Oh, the Camp and Furnace. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Which is at 24 Kitchen Street, I think. So yeah.
Okay.
They're like next door to each other. You know what I mean? That's sort of how it goes down, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I would say definitely that's another thriving area. But I would definitely say Baltic Triangle. It's not really upcoming anymore. It's already there, right?
Yeah.
Or would you say it's still upcoming?
No, I think it's well on its way to sort of becoming a new area of the town. And like, if you want to look at how 10 Streets could turn out, look at that, basically, right? Now, the only thing I will say is usually nightclubs tend to go to the cheapest area of the town because, like up and coming, like grassroots stuff. So I'm not quite sure where they're going to move to after 10 Streets gets sort of done up. But that's always the story of these sort of nightclubs, right? It's they basically rejuvenate areas that are basically, essentially rotting away. Like that was the best way to explain 10 Streets. It was a lot of buildings literally decomposing, and it's starting to get some life back into it, which is great, definitely.
Yeah, and just in closing, actually, with this conversation, just regarding Liverpool's nightlife, obviously, there is that relationship of hotspots opening up in sort of rundown areas of Liverpool. They thrive, bring people in, and then all of a sudden, people want to invest in the area because they can see a lot of people hanging around there. Now, obviously, it is possible for clubs to remain there even after development and investment has come in. But what would you say is like where's the fine line do you draw there? Because obviously I draw comparisons to obviously down here in London, you've obviously got Ministry of Sound and Fabric, who are still here just about, and they are surrounded by residential development and offices and so on, but they can still exist just about. Do you think that's what's needed for Liverpool, or do you just think they will just continue to just open up in rundown areas until there's nothing left? What do you reckon?
I don't know. We'll have to see how 10 Streets goes, to be honest with you. I think it can coexist at the moment. I don't see any reason it couldn't. It's not like they're knocking down buildings at the moment; they're repurposing buildings that already exist, from what I understand. So yeah, but it's nice to see, right? It's one of those stories of how you can see nightlife spreading amongst the city. So yeah,
I would also
interesting.
add on to that and say that I think one of Liverpool's greatest strengths is the fact that a lot of people like to party and a lot of people are really into their music in Liverpool.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely.
there is so many events that go on there. Loads of people want to go out. Loads of people want to see events. They want to see artists. They want to see live performances, and everyone's into their music, right?
The next thing I want to see from the Liverpool Council is expanded night buses. Come on, sort it out, guys.
Yeah.
It's taken so long to get a night bus, but let's expand the route. That's what I'm asking for, big time. Because you'd be surprised how long that has been fought for. It's crazy. So at the moment, for context, there's a night bus goes from Liverpool to Birkenhead, and that's it. But I'm like, it used to go much further. It used to go all the way down to Wirral, and there used to be ones in the other direction as well, going in like towards Liverpool sort of thing. So yeah, that's what we need now. We need more options for people to get home, essentially, right? That's a big thing.
Yeah, very, very good point, actually. And I was just going to bring it, sort of in closing of this discussion, what would be the rightful next steps for the future of the nightlife culture of Liverpool, but definitely extra support from Liverpool City Council and for what's the transport authority called? Is it all called Mersey Travel or Mersey?
I think it's Mersey Travel. Yeah. I mean, I'd like them to do night trains, so that's Mersey Rail, right? So that's sort of where I'm vibing from. So, but I mean, a bus is a nice alternative if they can't do trains. So,
Yeah, agreed. And actually, I have been on one of the last trains back out of Liverpool Lime Street.
It's a ritual. Yeah,
and yeah, I think it's like 11 or 11:30, and I remember getting on that train and I was amazed to even found a seat, but it was absolutely packed, and it was only two or three carriages.
Yeah,
but I will say,
everyone's forced to take it. This is the thing, and I think it makes a lot of nightlife in the area suffer a lot, because you can definitely see a significant drop come midnight because everyone goes home, and it's like, man, if you would just think about this, you could help a lot of businesses and a lot of people working as well, right? If you're in a bar and you got to work till 2 a.m. you're stuck in the city all night. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks so much, like the way it is at the moment. So, the only benefit I've seen from all of this is more people are doing day parties, which is great. So I love day parties, but still, like, we need some night transport, man. It's getting out of hand, but
yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I would also say, if it is the case where everyone is, if nightlife culture is thriving in Liverpool and it is a huge part of their economy because it's the nightlife economy, they should absolutely definitely support these things to boost it further. Because, like you said, if people have like night trains and night buses, everyone's going to stay out, because everyone, like, that's what happens down here in London, right?
Yeah, totally. And we can but request, So.
Yeah, I mean, if Liverpool City Council want any advice from us, they can. They know where to find us. And actually, in closing, y'all need to know where you can find us as well. We actually didn't finish. I actually had another topic discussion up, but I knew this was going to go on for ages.
Sorry.
But no, it's fine, mate, because we're going to use it for the next episode. So as our reminder to people, don't forget, you can watch or listen to the Changing Faces podcast. You can watch it on YouTube, so be sure to like and subscribe, as everyone says. Of course, you can listen to the Changing Faces podcast either on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from, or directly on Changing Faces .live, Changing Faces .live. Check out our latest updates. We are at Hey Changing Faces on both Instagram and Facebook, and Changing Faces RS on X, and at Hey Changing Faces on Blue Sky as well. And for everything else, you can visit changingfaces.live. Dave, do you want to quickly mention again where people can tune in to the Changing Faces podcast on all those podcast platforms? Go, quick.
Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Harmony, TuneIn, Podchaser, Castbox, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and Player FM.
Woo! Yeah, you got them all eventually. But that's all
just Changing Faces live.
Live. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.